October 11th, 2015, a man named Jose Ferreira called the crisis hotline in Milwaukee and then called a reporter at WSN 12 News to recount the fear that had haunted his life for 33 years. He had never slept peacefully, as the ghost of a beautiful girl whom he knew as Carrie Ann Jopek continually visited him, demanding justice. In 1982, when Jose was still a teenager, he felt that his youth had been lost due to the continuous visits from the spirit of Carrie, a beautiful girl who had died before reaching 17 years old. Every night, as he tried to sleep, he heard whispers that he recognized as Carrie's voice. Initially, Jose tried to ignore the whispers, but Carrie's voice only became clearer. He felt that the girl was always following him wherever he went. Carrie often appeared in the corner of his vision and then vanished when he tried to focus. She also appeared in his dreams, standing at the foot of his bed and staring at him with a look of intense anger. Over time, Jose was unable to lead a normal life. Every time he saw a girl of Carrie's age, his heart would race and cold sweat would pour down his body, leaving him trembling. These experiences led Jose to eventually make a shocking confession, especially to those closest to him. Jose could no longer endure being visited by the ghost of Carrie, the girl who had died at his own hands in 1982. Jose was only 17 years old at the time, but he had already experimented with various illegal drugs and attended several parties involving these substances. At one such party in Wisconsin, he met Carrie Ann Jopek. Under the influence of drugs, Jose invited Carrie to the basement for a sexual encounter. Initially, Carrie agreed, but as they neared the stairs, she suddenly became hesitant, possibly fearing pregnancy. However, Jose, already inflamed with desire, became angry and pushed her forcefully. Carrie, clearly unprepared for the assault, lost her balance and fell down the stairs with a loud thud. She immediately became motionless. When Jose went down to check on her, he panicked. The girl's neck was broken and she died instantly. Coincidentally, the basement was empty, with no one around. Jose took this opportunity to remove Carrie's body and bury it under the porch of a neighbor's house. Despite his efforts, Carrie's long hair remained protruding from the ground, but Jose had no time to tidy it up. He was afraid of being discovered. A year later, Carrie's body was discovered by accident, but her death remained unsolved. Jose was indeed one of the people questioned by the police, but he managed to provide an alibi and deny any involvement. Years went by, and as previously recounted, Jose was eventually forced to make a detailed and regretful confession. There was no doubt that he was indeed the perpetrator. His wife, who had been unaware of the crime, was shocked and horrified. She promptly reported her husband to the police. On the same day, the police arrived to arrest Jose and proceed with the investigation. During the interrogation on October 13, 2015, Jose confessed everything honestly, recounting the moments of Carrie Ann Jopek's death that he deeply regretted. According to the records, the victim's mother, Carolyn Tuignan, reported her daughter missing on March 16, 1982. On the same day, she learned that the 7th grade student had been suspended from Kosciuszko Middle School for skipping classes. 17 months later, in August 1983, a contractor working at the Tuignons neighbor's house discovered Carrie Ann Jopek's body buried under the porch. An autopsy cited in the criminal complaint revealed that Jopek died from internal bleeding in her skull due to head and neck injuries. She was found buried in the clothes she had last worn. A few days after the 1983 discovery, a neighbor informed the police that they had seen Ferreira acting strangely, crying for an unknown reason. The case might never have been solved if Ferreira had not confessed. If found guilty, he would clearly face the possibility of a 20-year prison sentence. The case, haunted by its victim, was also experienced by the infamous gangster Al Capone. It is said that, aside from being St. Valentine's Day, a day commemorating the martyr and protector of loved ones, February 14th is also a day of remembrance for several bloody acts that have nothing to do with love and affection. On that day in 1929, a mob war between territories occurred, resulting in significant casualties on both sides. The event took place at 2122 North Clark Street, which later became known as a haunted location. After the incident, Capone temporarily left Chicago. He and an associate traveled by car to Pennsylvania, where they violated local gun laws and were sentenced to 8 months in the notoriously harsh Philadelphia prison. In theory, Capone's money should have kept him safe in that prison, but it did not. While in prison, Capone was far from the fearsome gangster image. He was reported to often be terrified, crying and pleading for mercy. He was heard begging for a figure he repeatedly referred to as Jimmy to leave him alone. It was later revealed that this figure was actually James Clark, one of the people killed on February 14th. Clark had to be killed in the war because he was the right-hand man of the enemy leader and also his brother-in-law. However, for skeptics, it's possible that Capone was suffering from a brain disease at the time, or possibly hallucinations due to neurosyphilis. Another opinion suggests that Clark's ghost was actually a manifestation of Capone's guilt. While imprisoned, Capone had no activities other than reflecting on his past actions. Strangely, some of Capone's guards and close friends claim to have seen Clark's ghost appear and stare at Capone in his cell, while Capone himself appeared to plead for mercy. After his release from prison, it is said that Capone consulted a medium named Alice Britt in 1931. He sought to understand what Clark wanted, hoping the ghost would stop haunting him. Unfortunately, Britt was unsuccessful. Clark's ghost continued to follow Capone, appearing repeatedly as Capone faced imprisonment again for legal violations, and perhaps until the end of his life. Capone died, ironically, in his bed from a heart attack in 1947. Since then, it is said that James Clark's ghost also disappeared and has not been reported by anyone again.